Hi there, it's Carl Irwin, and as usual, I want to try something interesting with you. I've got some envelopes here. They're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 6 different envelopes. And what I want to do is I'm going to have you choose some of these envelopes. Really, I want you to choose all but one of them. And we'll eliminate them in a very efficient sort of way. So I'll ask, would you like to take away and again, you're going to take them away, whatever you say. Would you like to take away the odd numbers or the even numbers? Let's say you say the even numbers, right? So we have 2 and 4. And then that would leave us with 6 over here. So 2, 4, and 6. And now we have remaining. I still have 1, 3, and 5. Go ahead and name one more to take away. What would you like to take away? Let's say you want to take away the 3. Again, it'd be your choice. You could take that away. And that leaves me with just 2 envelopes left. We've got 1 and 5. Which one would you like to take away, the 1 or the 5? And let's say you want to take away the 5, that'd be fine. And I'll give you a chance. You can change your mind. In fact, I will even allow you to swap either this for this, or if you want, we can replace any one in this pile for the 1. No, you want me to stick with this one? That's fine. Now I want to show you what the situation is, but I first want to start with the envelope that you gave me. You see, every single one of these envelopes has something in it. Every single one of them. And if you look in this envelope, we open it up, you'll see that we have in here $2 bill. $2 bill. And that's all we have in there, just a $2 bill. And in the other envelopes, the ones that you took, in number 2, we have a note. It says, not here. And number 4, we have a note, not here. Number 6, not here. Number 3, not here as well. Number 5, not here. And I get all the money. And the topic of discussion today is bank night. Bank night, a very well-known presentation. It's got a lot of different names. Sometimes it's called Just Chance. It's been published many, many times. There's so many different ways to do the bank night plot. But essentially what it is it's a audience choice plot where you have concealed envelopes and or something concealed envelopes, I should say. And the audience chooses whatever they want freely. Often they're permitted to make, change their minds or swap or whatever. But in the end, one of 2 things happens. Either the plot works that a spectator ends up with something interesting, in usually money or something like that, or a note, a unique note or a lottery ticket or something like that in the last envelope. Or more often than not, the performer ends up with the money or whatever is the item of interest is in the last envelope. Sometimes in this plot, the remaining envelopes are empty, and that's a very easy method there, of course, which we'll talk about. But in many other versions, there's something else in the remaining envelopes. So an envelope gets passed out, the spectator chooses it, they open it up, and there's a note in there or a blank piece of paper or something like that, sometimes a joke. Of the contemporary versions of the bank night plot that are out there, John Archer has probably one of the best known ones. He was one of the very first, if not the first, Fooler on Penn and Teller's Fool Us in the very first episode when it was in England. That very first show, and I want to say he was on the first show, and that was when that his effect Blank Night is what it was marketed as, was on there, and he did fool them. That plot works as I'm describing, where he ends up with the money, and everybody else in the audience, they all get an envelope that they pick, and inside is a joke dollar bill of some kind. So that's kind of what we're looking at here. I was interested in doing this in such a way where there's really completely ordinary items in play. That there's nothing, no gimmicked envelopes or anything like that, such that I can be very free with the envelopes. They can be seen very openly. The spectator could take the envelope, they could open it up, and they could find the thing inside of it. And when I'm left with one at the end, I don't have any kind of extra pieces or anything like that. It's just any envelope, all the same, and I'm not ringing in any other extra kinds of folds or complex gimmicks. I wanted to avoid that. And I also wanted to use very ordinary objects. So I've got inside of these Post-it notes, or the notes inside here of these envelopes. These are just very, very kind of typical bank security envelopes. These are pay envelopes. You can fit dollar bills inside of that. You could fit a small stack of dollar bills inside of that envelope, and that's what they're for a check, to mail a check, or to put some money in. So that was what I was looking for, just very, very plain Jane kind of objects, and trying to avoid complex gimmickry to make this work. And we'll get into that in a minute. I'll discuss what I'm doing here. Another option that is very easy to use is the coin envelope. So you can get the number 1 size coin envelope, very, very small, and this will relate to a method that we'll talk about at the end. But this is a very nice carry-around kind of version of the banknight plot. And again, you can do this such that the envelopes are all empty, except for the one of interest that you are left with at the end. And we'll talk about how to do that as well with the coin envelopes. Very, very good method, a long-standing method that's good for the everyday magician. And again, packs really tight. You can just keep these in your pocket. You only need a few of them. You can use as few as 4, maybe even 3 envelopes and do that effect. So we'll talk about that in a minute. So banknight here, what we need to have is we need to have the ability to have any one of these envelopes end up with the cash. So we need to get a way to end up with the cash with the remaining envelope. That's problem number 1. And again, we don't want to gimmick the envelopes. I didn't want to change anything about the envelopes. I just want regular envelopes. And I think that with ordering of programming, the way in which we do this, I think we can conceal some of the method just by doing things in a particular order. I'll talk about that in a second. Likewise, I want all of these envelopes to be set up so that the spectator could take them, right? And that they're going to end up with the note. So here is the setup. Every one of these envelopes, they are numbered to make it easy to talk. You can get really funny with this. The John Archer version of it, he's got words on these, and he's got sort of like an Abbott Costello who's on first, kind of routine that he does, right? That old gag where words have kind of double entendre meaning, and it's just a hilarious kind of routine. And I'm not saying that you should copy his routine. I have heard that in his marketed effect, which I've never purchased. I do know what he's doing. But I've heard that he highly recommends that you don't do his routine. I don't know if that's true or not, and I can see why he would say that. But at the same time, that idea of the Abbott Costello kind of comedy is perfect for this. It's perfect for it. So you might find some other words and create a kind of pattern. You can look him up and think about that. But here's what I've got. Each one of these is numbered. And on the inside, there is a Post-it note, and it looks like it's a full size Post-it note. I do have a stack of these here. I, on purpose, picked a color that is a contrast to the envelope and the security inside printing, but it's not far off. It is a purple against a blue, which is that at quick glance, if most of this was covered up, it might not be seen, particularly if it's in shadow. That's very important. The second thing is that you can see the Post-it note should fill out the whole envelope. But what I did is I folded up the bottom part of the Post-it note so that just below the bottom lip, it folds up underneath, just like that. Okay. The idea here is that I could have a spectator take this. They would open it up and see the words, and if they want to, they could take it out, and it wouldn't really ring any alarm bells, the condition that it's in. But if I was going to show them from here, if I had full control, I could open this up and it would look like a Post-it note sitting completely filling up the envelope. And that was the illusion I'm going for. But I do have the option to let someone take it out there and take it out of the envelope, and it wouldn't be alarming in any way, the fact that it's folded up. But it does stick in this way that gives a very nice illusion. Now, the reason why this is beneficial is that it kind of measures out nice with this form of envelope, that if I close up the top here and I push it inside and invert it and show it empty like this, the Post-it disappears. You can see the Post-it note is completely concealed behind the lip. There's a slight little corner sticking out here, but you can't really see that. It's just not a color in the shadow of the envelope that sticks out very clearly. And I can even stick my fingers in there, open it up and show it at quick glance, and this is an empty envelope. And this is critical for me at the end, and the envelope that I have control over whenever I show it empty after I've taken out the cash. So that is the way that the notes work in this kind of a setup. Just an idea that I had that I was playing around with, I'm sharing with you. It's a theoretical idea. It's not something I've used yet, but this is just what I came up with. Now, I have a dollar bill, and I have a conundrum. I've got to be able to get this dollar bill into the envelope. Now, I think that the order in which you do things really matters. And what I thought about was going through the routine and showing what's in my envelope first, and then going through the remaining envelopes to demonstrate that they don't have cash in them, they've got a note in them. And I think that by doing that, you draw the attention away from two things. One is the condition of the empty envelope once I've taken the cash out of it. If I show my envelope empty, like this, and then this is separated in time from when I show the other envelopes, I think there is a bit of a time delay, misdirection, that allows me to show these envelopes full. And I'm not showing them in the same way, right? I've done this one envelope like that. And then when I show these full, and this is after taking something out of it. Look, I've taken something out. The envelope is empty. These have notes in them. I believe that this works psychologically very well, as opposed to showing these envelopes having something else in them and then having to take out something from this envelope and then show it empty like that in a different way, especially after a spectator potentially seeing the condition of that. The order really matters, is what I'm saying. The order really matters. And I think that if you do it in the way that I showed you, this can fly by pretty well. So let's talk about the add-on. How do we get the dollar bill into the envelope? Well, it's never in the envelope. That's the answer. There's several ways you can ring this in. What I did was a very simple finger palm. Now, what I did is I took the dollar bill, and I played around with a few different ways to do this. I had looked at the flash bill fold, which is a type of fold where it can be folded down into quarters, really eighths, and then opened up into quarters, and then with a flick of the thumb, the bill flashes open. I played around with that, but I could never get it to line up properly such that it wouldn't, stick out anywhere or make too much noise or movement. So I settled on this, that I take the bill out folded in half. And what this allows me to do is to fold the bill into quarters And then what I do is I take the top inside corner and I push it down so that I can get a grip on this edge. So this is really the condition of the bill. It's like this with the corner folded in. So I can get a grip of that. And then this side folds over the front. And then I have this sitting in finger palm like this right from the very beginning of the trick. So I begin with the envelopes in order, all of them in the same condition, with the flaps on the top, facing the same way. And what I do, I have my flaps on my right-hand side where my bill is at in my right hand. What I do is I show very openly from the beginning using Ramsey's subtlety on the finger palm that I've got these dollar bills, and I can hold one out in my fingers. And the conventional wisdom always is that if something's in the hand, then the hand is empty, right? I've got a bill in this hand. You can see the subtlety there. It is empty, and I can show these bills front and back, and I can take each one front and back one by one, count through them at the beginning, and I look quite empty. Then I square them all, and when I do this, I do the add-on. The add-on is done by pulling back on the bill with the thumb and then placing the bill behind the envelope. So it looks like this. I've got them here. I pull back with the thumb, and then I place the bill behind the envelopes as I re-grip. And now I've got the bill sitting behind envelope number 6. From this point, I'm really quite free and clear. I just have to make sure that I grab that bill at the base of the fan. If I fan these out, spread these out on the hand, I can hold on to all of the envelopes and the bill from either hand as long as I grab onto that bill. And I'm good at this point. I've demonstrated cleanliness at the beginning in the count. I added on the bill. I'm ready to go. No need for any other extra apparatus to ditch or anything like that. You could potentially use a thumb tip to be very free, but I just don't see that it's necessary because typically with a thumb tip, you use it to end clean rather than to start clean. And here, we don't really need to start that clean. We're clean enough just with a finger palm and Ramsey subtlety. This is really clean enough, right? We don't really need to do better than that. If I can demonstrate all the bills in that, or all the envelopes in that kind of a situation, I'm good to go. Now, when I end, because everything will be out in the open, I end clean. Having a thumb tip would leave me more dirty than this setup. So therefore, it's not worth it in my opinion. So here's where I'm at. And again, the bill is folded this way, so the inside corner is folded down, and I can grip that eventually. And then it's just simple. I ask you to name, for this very simple presentation, to name odds or evens. Let's say you say odds. We take away 1, 3, and 5, and I'm still maintaining the bill behind whatever the back envelope is. I set these out of the way. And then I say, go ahead and name another one. Let's say you name 2. We take away 2. And I say you have one more choice. It's between 4 or 6. And let's say you say 6. I just want to make sure I bring them together so that I can take 6 away and I still have my bill clipped against 4. And then I give this option. You can switch, you can change your mind, or I'll let you even replace any one of these with this one. They usually never want to change their mind, but they could if they wanted to. If they do change their mind, what you want to do is pick it up, set it on, and then take the other one out. And then you've done the switch. Okay, so we now have the bill on the envelope of interest. Now what I'm going to do, when I go to open it, this is the kind of behind the scenes here. I'm going to push the bill over to the other hand and stick my thumb in so that I can open the bill up like that. So now it's sitting in quarters, and it's actually sitting out the bottom of the envelope, but it's in my hand. It's covered up, right? Now, and this is all behind, so they can't see that. Now I can open up the flap. So from the front view, they see this, and this is my situation. And now what I can do is reach down and grab the bill. I'm actually grabbing the open corner of the bill and sliding my thumb in there. and then I can reach up and pull down on the bill as I pull it out of the envelope. So I pull it out of the envelope like this, and I can show the bill, and it looks like it's been sitting, in half inside of the envelope. I've gone from quarters to half in this move. So here I am. Actually, I've gone from eighths to half from the beginning of the trick. Now I can show the bill. I can pop it open and demonstrate it here. You don't want to drop this like that. I can open up the bill and show what it is. And then what I do is I set the bill down. I come back here. I pinch. This is sitting open. I pinch the flap down, and then I open up the envelope, and I can show that the envelope is empty. And because of the way I have my Post-it folded up in there, it actually is completely concealed behind the flap. This is empty. I set this down. You can even take the bill and slide it right in over the flap like that. And this is a very good, clean ending. There's no reason to come back to this. I've demonstrated that the bill was in this envelope. It's the only thing that was in this envelope. It's still with this envelope. This envelope is not interesting anymore. And because I've done this first, now in the presentation, when I go back here and I show that each one of these has a note, it can say anything, I just put not here on it, I can now demonstrate these as having something else in them. If spectators have a hold of this, I could have them wait until the end. And if they want to, they could take the note out or open it up and look at it. And this doesn't really raise suspicion because I think that there's enough of a delay from this demonstration of an empty envelope to this for anybody to recognize that this potentially could be in here as well, right? It's separated from that. Whereas I believe that if this was exposed first and then this was done second, and the bill was taken out very suspiciously, right, after showing these other envelopes, very suspiciously from this direction, and then even more suspiciously if the envelope was shown empty in this way, that would not work. Okay, so the order matters. The order matters in this idea, this concept. So that is my version of gimmickless bank night, using just regular envelopes, regular Post-it notes, standard size Post-it notes, and a bill. That's my rendition of it. Let me talk with you very quickly about another extremely accessible version, which I believe this is in a lot of old publications. This very concept. It might even be in that little booklet. I think it's like 50 Tricks with a Thumb Tip. It's a very well-known publication. It's often sold with thumb tips. You can get that. They mention this in there, as I recall, the thumb tip version of Just Chance or Bank Night. And it's very simple. What you do is you have a dollar bill. The bill is folded into quarters. It could be into sixteenths, but most people don't realize you don't need to go into sixteenths to go into a thumb tip. You can go into eighths, rather. You can go into eighths, and it will fit into the thumb tip in most cases, and your thumb can still fit in there. That's much better for this kind of rendition. Now, the way this works is that you have coin envelopes, and they can have something in them or not. Probably the easiest thing to do is just have empty coin envelopes, and you could have them numbered or whatever, and you go through the whole process where you're showing the envelopes, and again, I've got this in the thumb tip, and they select some. You get yourself down to one, and what you do is you open up the envelope, and then you reach in and you take out the contents, and in this case, it's going to be the dollar bill, and you can take this out, right? You can set it down. And then what you do is you don't want to end like this. You could end like that and just stick this in your pocket, but it's nice to show it empty. What you do is you just take your thumb and stick it back in as you take the envelope, tap on the top like this, right? And then you can show it empty as you retrieve the thumb tip. So just a little kind of maneuvering there. So you take out the bill, stick your thumb in, tap on it, and then show that it's empty, and you've stolen the thumb tip back, and now you've ended very clean. And then you've got regular items at the end of it. So that is a thumb tip bank night. Very, very good rendition, because this just looks so clean. Obviously, this doesn't fool any magicians, but this looks so clean that you have an empty hand, an envelope. You reach in and you take out the contents of the envelope, and it's right there. And that's the handling. So that's my handling anyway, using a thumb tip on a coin envelope. So #1 coin envelopes, you can get those at a department store that has stationery, or at a stationery type store. You can find those or order them online. Very, very inexpensive. Bank night for the common magician. So there you have it. Those are my ideas. Good luck with that. I just wanted to give you a couple of final updates here. Also, if you look at Penguin, I've got another product up there, a lottery ticket effect, where the spectators name numbers that are used to formulate a lottery ticket, and then the lottery ticket is taken out of the wallet and shown. It's the lottery illusion, right? And it's my rendition of it. That is a very accessible carry-around kind of method. That seems to be doing very well. You'll note that my prices are creeping up a little bit, and the reason for that is that some of these things are getting noticed. So as products are getting noticed, I want to make sure that they are of a value that is worthy for what I'm selling. The kind of that time has gone by where I was sinking in my teeth and trying to get a little bit of name recognition in the market. That's starting to happen. I got a review from David at Magic Orthodoxy for the $1 Torn and Restored. And with these two things happening at one time, this one product that a lot of mentalists seem to have latched onto, they really like the method that I put out. And then this kind of gimmick sale, right? A $1 bill trick sale. With those things, the prices are going up a little bit. But I do promise you, I will never charge ridiculous rates for my stuff, right? So everything's kind of around the capping off at the $10 range, just to make it a little bit more worthwhile to me. And of course, there'll always be those great bargains. And I wanted to do this video with you just to demonstrate there's stuff that I'm still going to show on here. There's a lot of things that I could try to sell cheap and make a buck on, but that's not what I'm about. I am about sharing. I am about demonstrating good, solid ideas that I think can work for the everyday magicians out there like you and me, for people like that, and even professionals that are interested in just some other angles and other ideas. So I wanted to do that in good faith here this evening and demonstrate this to you, and offer this up for your consideration. So with that, good luck and happy magicking.